There was some sort of drama yesterday when Philip Shaibu, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, staged a walkout at an event in the state after his aides, including security operatives, were denied entry in. In the viral video, while Shaibu was allowed into the venue of the 60th anniversary of the Midwest referendum organized by the state government, his entourage was stopped from gaining access to the event, and when the deputy governor sought permission for his team to come with him into the venue, a security official was seen blocking the way.
And there was also some mild drama on Sunday when an operative of the Department of State Services, DSS, again prevented Shaibu from meeting with the governor. Of course, that also went viral. Over the past few weeks, Governor Obaseki of Edo State and his deputy Shaibu have been at loggerheads over issues pertaining to the alleged impeachment plot against the deputy governor. We also hear that the media crew of the embattled deputy has been disbanded by Governor Obaseki. Now, joining us this morning on Breakfast Central is Dennis Osaretin. He's a lawyer, coordinator advocacy for good governance and leadership, and a managing partner, Bronze Solicitors and Attorneys. Good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, and thanks for having me once again. Glad to be here.
The situation in Edo State seems to, it seems to be getting worse. You know, it's now even getting more embarrassing with the security stopping the deputy governor from approaching the governor. Can you share with us, what seems to be happening here, and how bad is it currently that these two, are now having public display that is, everyone can see it?
No, for me, it's I believe strongly that there's probably just a storm in a teacup. There's really nothing happening that should give us any cause for work. For me, it's a script that is being played by the political actors that is trying to whip up sentiment and probably heat up the polity just to further deepen the narrative that some persons are not being allowed to function or to enjoy the perks or the privileges of office. I think it's a script that is being acted by the dramatic personnel, which we are going to probably unravel during the course of this interview. So for me, it's really not a cause for worry, and there's really nothing that happened at those two events that you have cited that is something that should be of concern to those of us who believe in allowing the governor to finish well and then deepening the rules or the principles of democracy in Edo States.
All right, now that you believe that there is nothing that we should be able to draw out from those two events, how about the relationship between the governor and his deputy? What do you make of it? There have been insinuations about them having issues, conversations. We did hear about a statement that was credited to the governor saying that the deputy governor's ambition to run for office is now making him run a parallel government, and that the constitution has empowered him to be the governor and he doesn't have need for a co-governor. So would you also say that there's nothing going on there as well?
Absolutely. The evidence is there. It's like the handwriting is already on the wall. The relationship between the governor and his deputy is a frosty one, and you will not blame the governor for adopting that stance. If you have a deputy governor that allegedly staged the coup or attempted to stage manage a coup, that has his own parallel arrangement, that because of his personal ambition wouldn't want to allow the smooth sailing of the ship of governance. Of course, the executive governor of the state, His Excellency Governor Obaseki, should have cause for worry. If I were in his shoes, I would also be very worried. The fact that the relationship has become frosty, the fact that the relationship has become a little bit soured, is no longer news. The governor has come out, to say categorically that it appears that because of the deputy governor's personal ambition, he would rather want to bring down the roof than allow him to finish well. And that is not supposed to be news to anybody at all at this point in time.
Yeah, But is the deputy governor not allowed to have, personal ambitions, to become governor if he so chooses? And, is there other things that are maybe playing out here that we're not being told? Because it's easy to just paint the picture as, Philip Shaibu trying to run for governor, and of course, Governor Obaseki not being in support, and that's, the basis for the issues. But are there other things that are not being, mentioned here? If you also recall, there's also a conversation about where the next governor should come from, if it's Edo Central or Edo North, and where Philip Shaibu is from, and all of that. So can you shed more light on what, we may not be told here? Before
you answer that, in addition to this question, is there really proof about the attempted coup?
Yeah, for me, like we said the last time I was here, the premise of this whole crisis, the genesis of this whole crisis, is the fact that the deputy governor wanted to, have his way when it comes to the principal officers, especially in the in the House of Assembly. While the governor had his own preferences, the governor and the party leadership in the state had their own preferences. The deputy governor attempted to align with the opposition to also have his way, as far as the principal officers of the Assembly were concerned. But of course, the deputy governor of the state, being the chief security officer, the box was unstable. He got wind of this, attempted coup, I would like to describe it, and then outsmarted his deputy by ensuring that the will of the party, the will of the majority of the people in the state, comes to play as far as the leadership of the House of Assembly is concerned. And of course, it's also worth mentioning that it is also no longer news that the deputy governor is currently in court, dragged his boss to court. And right now, that case is still ongoing. That case has been argued, and they've already adjourned for judgment. And the deputy governor made series of allegations against the person of the governor, against the House of Assembly, even against the chief judge of the state. So one man is seen to have declared war on other arms of government, including his boss. So if we are saying that there's already issue, the issue here, right here, the premise of this whole crisis can be traced to the ambition, the overriding ambition of the deputy governor. Nobody is saying that he doesn't have ambition to run. You don't have a right as a Nigerian, but your ambition cannot, be worth the blood of any other person. Your ambition is not more important than the needs, than the yearnings of the people of Edo State. Who sincerely wants the governor to concentrate and deliver on the dividend of democracy. And the deputy governor, being the arm of that, arrangement, cannot be seen to be bringing down the roof at this point in time. What he should be doing right now is to join hands with the governor to ensure that they finish well, and not to hit on politics like he's already doing right now.
Okay, I think another perspective, you've highlighted that the deputy governor has dragged the governor to court and has made very weighty allegations. And also you've mentioned that his ambition is not worth the blood of the Edo people. I want you to expand further on that, right? Because we've seen scenarios where people who are in office, whilst in office, have run, and have expressed interest in running for other positions, not just in Nigeria. We saw it in Kenya with William Ruto being the deputy president and still vying or making plans to be president. Even though, yes, of course, we did see that caused a huge rift between him and the then president, Uhuru Kenyatta. So if you bring this back, what do you mean when you say that it's not worth the blood of the Edo people? And how does this rift between the governor and the deputy governor, how does it currently affect governance in Edo State?
Of course, you can see that just yesterday we had a very momentous celebration, because the Midwest, from where Edo State got its origin from, celebrated a couple of years, a milestone as a political entity. And that should have been the talk of the town, because looking at where Edo is coming from, when the state was created in 1991, and where we are right now, there's a quantum leap from where we used to be and to where we are now. So it is worth celebrating. That should have been the focal point of our discussion this morning. But here we are discussing the shenanigans of a political opportunist. I would like to refer to him, because, like I've always said, the deputy governor currently in Edo State is the most privileged deputy governor in the history of political history in Nigeria. He's the most visible, he's the most empowered. He has acted as governor for in a rough period of almost 5 times, in his capacity as acting governor. So for me, that should have been, it's a privilege that deputy governor should celebrate, in a lifetime. But what do we have? We have a deputy governor, for example, look at the event that happened yesterday. Before you come to a government function, there is an approved list of protocol. And the deputy governor's protocol has been approved. It has been prearranged. But why would you now want to breach protocol by bringing in a media personnel who was not even approved? So that point for me tells me that the deputy governor obviously came with an ulterior motive to probably whip up public sentiment and create a scenario of crisis where there is none. And that is it gives me cause for concern, because for me, I'm not just here to speak because I'm a politician. I believe that whatever is good for our state should be highlighted, and whatever is not good should be condemned, root, stem, and branches. And the shenanigans or the attitude of the deputy governor yesterday should be condemned by every well-meaning Edo people. And what is more important, it's also important we situate this our discussion. The people of Edo are saying that Edo North produced the past governor and the current senator of Edo North. Edo South produced the current governor in Edo State. Are we not saying that Edo Central are less Edo? Are we not saying that no person is qualified to become governor from Edo Central? That we must allow the reins of power to go back to Edo North, where the current deputy governor comes from? I think for those of us who are very objective, we are saying no. It is high time this silent principle of rotational power should also favor the people from Edo Central. Deputy governor has been deputy governor for 8 years running. He has been member of House of Rep. He has been a member of the House of Assembly. So if those are saying that the power should not shift to Edo Central, I don't see anything wrong with that. Deputy governor, for me, is the one trying to beat up the quality, and we must ensure that we remind him of where he's coming from, and the need for him to be humble while in office, because power is transient.
Okay, let me just pick up that argument that you just made. Edo South, of course, has had a deputy governor. Has had the governor. Edo North has had the deputy governor for this long. If you're saying Edo Central, according to the rotational politics that is being played, if you're saying Edo Central, should likely take over in 2020, in the next election, 2024, where would the deputy governor likely come from? Don't you think that there might be another challenge there, figuring out where deputy governor would come from?
Far from it, God has created Edo in such a way that there is this balancing effect. Currently, the current senator representing Edo North is from the same senatorial district, is from the same ward, the same unit that the current deputy governor comes from. In Edo North, mind you, we have the people of the Onwa.
Yeah.
we have, from the FMI stock, we have the Onwa people from Edo North. So if, for example, the governorship is zoned to Edo Central, argument, simple logic would demand that the deputy governor seat can then be zoned to Onwa part of Edo North, or Igara, or some other places. So the deputy governor knows that this arrangement, however you want to look at it, does not favor him, whether you look at from the head or to the tail. And that's why he's making all efforts to render the state ungovernable, to create a semblance of political dysfunction, or to create a situation of a crisis scenario.
Yeah.
One thing I also want to mention this point in time is the fact that for the very first time in a long while, you saw the current senator from Edo North paying glowing tribute to the governor of Edo State. It has never happened before. And people are already saying that the reason why there is quarrel between Comrade Adam Osomole and the current governor of Edo State is because of the same ambition of Captain Philip, the current governor of Edo State. And yesterday, for the very first time, you saw Comrade Adam Osomole honoring an institution except to him by the current governor. That really tells you that the elephant in the room causing this crisis is Philip. And we must encourage him as a young man that he should calm down and just finish well with the governor of Edo State and stop creating tension in the states.
All right, I'm sure that, of course, we all know how politics is played out, and to be honest, I also wish that Edo State electorate, you look out for who is most qualified, not necessarily, what region. Rotational politics has never really been beneficial to Nigeria in general. But of course, I'm sure that there would be.
We disagree with you. A number of people will disagree on the federal level.
I'm sure that there would be someone who's, qualified, from Edo Central, The point I'm making is
Absolutely.
the point I'm making is, generally the ideas behind voting should not be where the person is from; it should be how qualified that they are.
That
We
one is
are all
another.
Edo people.
But
We are all
hopefully,
Edo people, whether from Edo Central or from Edo North. But what we're saying is that for the people of fairness, equity, and fair play,
Yeah.
it is the time, it's
I
the
agree.
turn of the people.
I agree with that. But before we go, because we're going to wrap up in a bit, I also want you to speak on the presence of Labour Party in Edo State. It seems to be even more popular than the PDP and the APC as things currently stand. Of course, we saw how things played out in the general elections 2023. We have also seen the last visit that Peter Obi made to Edo State, and we saw the reaction of the Edo State people. Should the PDP and the APC be worried about the Labour Party's candidate in the next elections?
It seems that
yeah,
we've been
we may have
disconnected
lost,
from Barrister Osaretin. We're not able to connect due to technical challenges. I think that's an important question to ask. Lately, we've been seeing the strength that the Labour Party has been wielding in the state. A number of people have signified interest. There have been rumors of certain persons who are...
Olumide Akpata?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty certain that that's the plan. I think he, of course, has stepped down as a
partner at
Templars, and
yes.
will, of course, be going fully into politics. And of course, registered as a member of the Labour Party. So it's very likely that's, that's the direction that he's headed.
Yes.
I'm going to have to confirm if he is from Edo Central, and so we'll know what exactly, he's just strategizing. Then the society, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I was asking, I don't know if you got my last question. I was asking about the presence of Labour Party and their popularity in Edo State. They seem to have gotten the love of the people if you looked at the last general elections. And of course, every single time that the presidential candidate Peter Obi is in town, it almost feels like a carnival. Should the PDP and the APC be worried that, the Labour Party might just sweep them away in the next elections?
Of course, they should be worried. Some of us have always advocated for a very viable opposition, and Labour Party, seems to be the one that is, warming up. Not even the APC that is supposed to be the ruling party at the national level. So what we have right now is that Labour Party is the one that is probably, holding forth for the alternative discussion and creating the alternative view that we have always dreamt for. But unfortunately, the Labour Party arrangement is currently seen as a flash in the pan, because the only time Labour Party becomes active is when you have a Peter Obi phenomenon in Edo State, and that is not correct. That is not wrong. That is wrong. We believe that the opposition should be about the people and not about an individual. It's not hero worship. So it's not only when you have Peter Obi or there's an election in the fortnight I start hearing or seeing that there's a political activism going on at the level of the Labour Party. What we have right now is that the Labour Party in the state, appears to be a lame duck. They're only just waiting for people to come and whip them to line or whip them up and all that. So I believe that they can do better and be able to ride on the momentum that the political gain that they made in the last presidential election. Until that is done, I still believe that Labour may not necessarily be the party that will grapple power or that will grab power from the PDP come the next election in Edo State.
All right, as we wrap up the conversation, Barrister Osaretin, I'd like to find out, how do we see this issue between the governor and his deputy being resolved? I've seen, I don't know if you can confirm this for us, where I've seen statements that have been credited to the governor saying that his deputy had never informed him of his decision or of his intention to run. And instead, there were allegations of him saying he wanted to go on a holiday, and he approved the holiday only for him to hear that he'd been served with court processes. On the other hand, we, of course, did hear the recent, we talked about the recent incidents of the deputy trying to approach him and the DSS preventing the deputy from getting across to him. When will these two men sit and talk it out as the two leading adults in the state? And do we see that happening anytime soon? Are there people, are there elder statesmen that can influence this issue between both of them and help them sit down and come to an amicable settlement?
For me, the governor has, extended the olive branch, by his mannerism, we all know that the governor is not one that is given to cheap talk. The governor is not one that is, given to sentiment. It's very calm, very objective, and he tried to dispose the function of that office with candor, with such that we have never seen in a long while. So for me, the deputy governor, in some wisdom, I've always described the governor as his elder brother. So, and he was the one that went to court. He was the one that drew the first blood. He was the one that fired the first shot. For me, as a way, out of this logjam, the deputy governor still has the chance. We thought from the last time we were here to this point, I thought by now he would have shown remorse by withdrawing the cases he has filed in court. But what did we find? The deputy governor went on to argue that case in court, and the matter has been adjourned for judgment. So I honestly believe that for us to see any form of true reconciliation, it may be after the judgment of on the cases in court, and it may be too late, late in time, because if judging by the recent happenings, it's already clear that whatever the deputy governor is doing right now cannot begin to whip up the sentiment of, okay, these are even grounds for impeachment. A deputy governor that wants to breach protocol, that wants to cause a scene, cause crisis in a state, a widely televised event. I'm calling on camera to record it, to whip up what?
But he's trying to, don't you see it as him trying to protect himself, maybe? Because, part of the conversations we're hearing is that he's suspecting, or that he's heard that there are plans to impeach him. So he's trying to file for an injunction to prevent, them from being impeaching him. And I don't know if you can either confirm this. So wouldn't this be seen as him protecting himself, if that really is the case?
Apart from me, the court is not a Father Christmas. The court cannot restrain you from conducting a phantom, impeachment. There's nothing right now in that assembly that suggests to me that there's any move. Even the speaker himself has been quoted to have said there is no motion for impeachment. The CJ, the chief judge of the state, have also mentioned clearly in his affidavit that there is no letter before him to empanel any committee to investigate the deputy governor. So where is this coming from? Clearly, it is just power mongering. The deputy governor wants to create this tension because it benefits more to him when there is crisis in the state. We have seen it over time. Whenever there is crisis in the state, it clearly tells you that he wants to benefit from the chaos. However, we are saying that we are already used to his tactics, and this time around, Edo people will resist any attempts to distract this current government from delivering on the dividend of democracy that they have promised. And I urge the deputy governor once again, as the younger brother to the governor, because the governor has given him too much or so much latitude for him to excel in the capacity as deputy governor. He should go back home and apologize, withdraw your cases in court, and align with the current political arrangements in the state, and ensure that Governor Obaseki finishes well, in this tenure, so we can now make progress as a state.
All right. Hopefully the people of Edo State also understand the proper definitions of dividends of democracy, and they're able to judge the Obaseki administration in the last 8 years properly.
They will judge it fairly. They will judge it fairly. It's still very fair to him. Because looking at the agencies on ground, we have never had it so good in Edo State. God bless Edo State.
I'm from Edo State, and I visit pretty often. Okay, so if you say you've never had it so good, it might be something to argue about, but we don't have
maybe on the later days we are going to blow by blow, sector by sector.
We would certainly love to have you back for that.
Dividends that Obaseki has brought to those states, and I'll be ready to engage you on that.
We'll see. All right, thanks a lot for stopping by.
Thank you.
See you again.
All right.
Thank you for having me. God bless.
Thank you for joining us.